Hi everyone, as you're aware, Nepal has recently unveiled our new political map with the stretch of the much disputed land, which includes Limpiyadhura, Lipulek and Kalapani. India has strongly rejected Nepal's claims by saying the new map is not based on any historical facts or evidence. Furthermore, accused Nepal by saying such artificial enlargement of territorial claims will not be accepted. To make matters worse, I keep seeing videos from some Indian media attacking Nepal with all sorts of allegations and threats like this.
मतलब जब चाहा किसी के हिस्से को अपना बता दिया, नेपाल हमारा है, फिर क्या होगा?
I believe that you are just being egged on by China. China is using you.
भारत के पास 14.5 लाख सैनिक हैं, जबकि नेपाल के पास सिर्फ 95,000।
कि 70 साल में पहली बार नेपाल जो है वो इस तरीके से आंख दिखाने की कोशिश कर रहा है सर भारत को, नक्शा पास कर लिया उन्होंने।
So these are just a few examples of the videos that I have come across. My only request to journalists and the Indian media covering this news, you have to be very sensitive about this issue and you have to be cautious of the message that you're putting out as a media outlet, because you have a very powerful voice that reaches all over the country, and we shouldn't be promoting false information to instigate hate between Nepal and India, because trust me, that is going on online right now. And for most part of it, I have been overwhelmed, amused and ignorant, maybe misinformed and enraged by all the information and mind-boggling allegations that's coming left and right. I feel now that as a Nepali, as a proud Nepali, I must speak up for my country, because how long are we going to tolerate the domination by India? And I really believe that we all need to be united and use all means of approaches to advocate our claim and advocate the truth, because we cannot be silenced, we cannot be bullied, because we are considered a small country, we're a landlocked country, and we're considered weak by our neighbors. Also, the same neighbor who claims that we are their younger brother and we share a very good relationship with them. But is this how they treat their neighbors, by intimidating us and threatening us? So let's understand what the dispute is all about. The key to the dispute is the origin of the Kali River, which is meant to be the boundary between India and Nepal in the disputed area. It is also a battle over the historical accuracy of the disputed areas between India and Nepal and its ownership of nearly 330 square kilometers of land called Kalapani near Nepal's and Western Tree Junction with India and China. Nepal is claiming, rightfully claiming, it's Nepal's, and India is saying it is theirs. This dispute is not a new one either. It is quite an old dispute, but things have come to a new boil and tensions have escalated, especially after India published a new edition of its political map to take into account the bifurcation of Jammu and Kashmir in November of 2019 last year. This map showed that Kalapani territory, including Lipulek Pass, which ownership Nepal disputes, as falling entirely within Indian territory. India didn't consult Nepal. This is why Nepal objected the new map of India. Also, the recent inauguration of a new 80-kilometer road linking its northern state of Uttarakhand with Lipulek on the border with Tibet without Nepal's consent, and this is what has made Nepalis very upset, and the Nepali government has also questioned why India didn't consult Nepal. So here are the facts. Nepal is surrounded by India in 3 sides and has 26 district borders attached with India. We also share an open border with India, which means Indians can come to Nepal and work, and Nepalese can go to India and work as well. And that has been happening for years and years. If we look back at the history of Nepal, Nepal actually had a bigger empire known as the Greater Nepal. But we lost some major parts of Greater Nepal to China and India. So the current tension, brewing hate and criticisms from both sides online isn't something new either. From what Nepal is claiming, there is actually no dispute. Lipulek, Kalapani and Limpiyadhura belongs to Nepal as stated in the 1816 Sugauli Treaty signed between the British East India Company and the King of Nepal following the Anglo-Nepalese War. The treaty also states Kali River, now known as Mahakali, shall be the undisputed boundary between India and Nepal, making the land on the east of the Kali River completely Nepal. The map issued by the British between 1816 and 1860 backs up Nepal's claim. But this is where the confusion comes up, because the maps issued afterwards from 1880 started to change the origin of Kali River and change the name of the river originating from Limpiyadhura as Kuti Yangti. This is where everything gets very questionable. Nepal needs to question why the map suddenly changed, why the river's name suddenly changed, and was it intentional or was it a mistake? If it was intentional and a survey was done, why wasn't Nepal informed? Why didn't they have a mutual agreement about it? Why all the talks Nepal has requested has been ignored so far? And it is also true India has had an army base in the Kalapani region near to Lipulek Pass since the early 1950s. Following Nepal's request, India withdrew 16 of the 17 border army posts in 1970, but not the one in Kalapani. Nepal allowed India to have their army base there as a goodwill gesture, and a Nepali king thought he was helping his neighbor out by lending the land for them to set up a army base during India's war with China. But I guess that is what Nepal is getting for being a good neighbor. So in 1990, when democracy finally came to Nepal, Nepali governments have been requesting India to remove the post and return the land to Nepal, but India has stayed put. Now we also need to understand what is India's interest. Why does not India want to give back Kalapani to Nepal? India had kept its army installation in Kalapani as the area is of high strategic value. The high ground of India's army post there allows it to monitor the highland passes with Tibet far into the distance. And there is also the economic logic, because since 2009, India and China have repeatedly tried to develop Lipulek Pass as a bilateral trade route by bypassing Nepal. Another reason for India's interest in Kalapani is religious. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi wants to make a direct route for the thousands of Indians who visit Mansarovar, believed to be one of the holiest Hindu religious sites. So this is what I think should be done. Even though Nepal has been requesting for a dialogue and India has not responded properly to the repeated requests from Nepal to sit and talk about this dispute, to come to a mutual agreement. The land in question does belong to Nepal geographically, so Nepal should come up with all the historical evidence available and present its case. So Nepal has census record, Nepal has records of the local election, Nepal has records of people paying their land tax to Nepal. Unfortunately, this dispute has reached another height and has opened up more of an urgent need for a bilateral talks with India and Nepal. Nepal should be ready to face India, and India should be ready to hold serious bilateral dialogues to resolve this issue. To be very realistic, prolonging this standoff is not in the best interest of either Nepal or India, because we do share an open border with India, and Nepalis have been working in India for years and years. There are so many thousands of Nepalis working in the Indian army as well, and Indians also come over to Nepal to work as well. What can we do from our side? I feel we need to carry on advocating our truth, advocating our claims, to increase our concern and put pressure to our government to come to a mutually agreed diplomatic talks to resolve this as soon as possible by keeping in mind our mutual stakes and concerns. I personally had plans to travel to Darchula Jilla this year, but I don't think this is happening because of the corona situation, and I personally had a broken leg at the start of the year, so that kind of postponed my plan. But I've loved to speak to the people who are living in Darjeeling, living in that area, because those people are the ones who would be most affected. Nepal needs to think of its people who are living in those remote areas to make their lives easier. It's been reported that people there have to walk through India route to reach their villages, and that is quite upsetting, that to reach their own village that they have to use the India route. So Nepal needs to think about making lives of the people there easy as well. What really needs to stop is the online war between Indian public and the Nepali public, because it's getting more uglier by the day and it's escalating to another height. Some of the Indian media really needs to do their homework before throwing dangerous claims that can be very dangerous for the relationship of India and Nepal. And also, Indian media needs to stop attacking Manisha ji, because all she was doing was supporting her country, and she's allowed to do that no matter where she has worked during her career. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you kind of got a little understanding about the whole dispute. Thank you so much.